I'd like to welcome you to BOI Meets Wellness, a podcast that discusses the complexities, celebrations, and challenges of building a wellness ritual as a BOI, a person who is born obviously incredible. You are now listening to BOI Meets Wellness with poet, motivational speaker, and wellness lover, Benton.
BOI, born obviously incredible, especially when you wear it pretty.
Welcome to BOI Meets Wellness. Hello to our new listeners and a special thank you to our subscribers. BOI Meets Wellness is a podcast where we talk about money, mindset, and wellness. We interview people who are living incredible journeys and are sharing their gifts with the world. Boys, people who are born obviously incredible. Today's interview features a leader in the LGBTQIA community, Dana Johnson. Dana Johnson is a master of social work, uses the pronouns they, them, and theirs, and is a native of Oakland, California. A gender non-binary activist, trainer, counselor, and consultant, Dana currently serves as an LGBTQ Commissioner, co-chair for San Mateo County, and co-chair of San Mateo County Pride Initiative. Dana has assisted with coordinating the San Mateo County LGBTQ Pride celebration for the last 4 years and has been on the coordinating committee since 2012. They're currently working and co-producing a documentary on embracing the LGBT culture and intersectionality. Dana has also sat on a union board and served as a shop steward for 3 years, ensuring employees receive their employment rights and specialize in LGBTQ employee rights and policy. However, before we jump into that interview, let's talk about our wellness tip of the week. Today's wellness tip is to do some adult coloring and support a local business. I don't know about y'all, but I enjoy getting into a good coloring book. One of my favorite artists is actually Madam Muse. Shout out to her. I'll be sure to put her website into our show notes, but she's an amazing Black queer painter who has come out with amazing coloring books, some really dope ones. The one that I've been looking into is called Legends and includes photos of Nipsey Hussle, Whitney Houston, and the late, great Kobe Bryant, an opportunity for us to not only color, but to color people that we admire and that have left us with some amazingness. So according to the American Art Therapy Association, art therapy is a mental health profession in which the process of making and creating artwork is used to explore feelings, emotional conflicts, foster self-awareness, manage behavior and addictions, develop social skills, improve reality orientation, reduce anxiety, and increase self-esteem. So literally, coloring is therapy, y'all. It can reduce anxiety, create focus, and bring more mindfulness to your life. So do me a favor, grab some coloring pencils, crayons, markers, and get into it. I'm going to leave Madam Muse's website into the show notes, but if you know of any cool Black people that are doing some dope work and creating coloring books, please send them our way. We are more than willing and wanting to support, and you can send that to boymeetswellness@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to share that with our community. Today's episode is brought to you by Mar Media Productions. Mar Media is a media production company that produces, publishes, and uplifts the stories, art, and journeys of queer and trans people of color and the people who make our lives incredible. I hope you enjoy this interview with the amazing, talented leader in our community, Dana Johnson. Hello, world. Welcome to BOI Meets Wellness. It's your boy, Evolve, and I'm excited to sit down with my boy, Dana Johnson. Dana, welcome to the show. Can you just drop name, location, pronouns, and what brings you joy?
Sounds good. Good morning to you, Evolve. Good morning to the BOI Wellness community. My name is Dana Johnson. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. I identify as gender non-binary. I am San Mateo County LGBTQ Commissioner, as well as a San Mateo County Health Equity Initiative co-chair. I'm excited to be here, and what brings me joy is the social justice and the LGBTQ activism that's spiraling inside of me to try to make a better world for our community and just bring upon change. And just seeing the community gather together and being a part of the boys. I'm joyful about that right now.
Well, thank you, Dana. Thank you for mentioning that. I mean, you are born obviously incredible. You are what I consider definitely one of our freedom fighters doing the good work out there. So, can you tell the community a little bit about your story? What got you into activism and advocacy? Because I know that you're also a social worker. Where did this passion to serve start from?
So back when I was in high school, I played basketball, and it was interesting because it was a pretty liberal high school, Berkeley High. But I was seeing that at that time, masculine-centered lesbians wasn't being respected for their identity, and I was like, we need to try to make some change for that. And so, in my little high school world, I tried to make some change and do a little miniature documentary on bringing inclusiveness and kind of bringing some type of equality to the women's basketball team at that time, because we was really getting a lot of different things that was going on with us. And it kind of sparked me to like, oh, this is pretty cool. I should continue to kind of do this type of stuff. So went to college, graduated, and came across this real cool nonprofit job by the name of Project Eaton. And what we did is we were working with youth that had substance abuse issues, or in regards of some LGBTQ youth and some didn't identify as that. But the main thing that brought that upon that while I worked there is because we actually oversee this gay prom that was being ran in Hayward. And that was amazing. Sometimes we would get about 500 to 600 youth back when Centennial Hall was open. And it's kind of really struck me there when there were random youth that I've never met coming up to me, crying in tears and just overjoyed, saying, thank you for having this. My parents don't know. I was spending the night at my friend's house, and I went in my pajamas, and here I am. I got the opportunity to change my clothes into some prime gear, and I'm able to be myself for these 5 hours. And so it just went from there. I was looking into different communities. I went upon San Mateo, who they have LGBTQ services then, but it wasn't as visible. And I've been just trying to do work and continuously doing that work there. And then the social work in you. I have a master's in social work, so it's like a little string in you that where it's like, oh, you have to do social justice. It doesn't make you. It's like they get you prepared for that while you're in graduate school. So that's kind of like where these different things kind of got to. Thank you for that.
No problem. That's beautiful. So you play ball. What position did you play, if you don't mind me asking? And we're gonna have to shoot around after this COVID-19 thing is over, because I done talked to a few folks on the podcast who are some ballers, and I'm like, we got a little, we got a little group here. We can get down. We can have a little league. We can do something once the COVID-19. So, what position and what college did you go to?
I played small forward for Berkeley High. Amazing years there. Actually went to the state championship and
Woo-woo.
different. Yeah, I know. It was pretty amazing. And then after graduating or from Berkeley High, I went on to San Francisco State undergrad there. And that was an amazing experience too. It was amazing because LGBTQ in that community was even broadened. So that was an amazing space to be a part of. And then got my graduate degree at Cal State University East Bay.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that you kept the journey going in the Bay Area, right? Like
Definitely.
really stayed at home. So I know what was it, maybe like a couple of episodes ago, we had Chaney Turner on, and they were really talking about how Oakland has shifted and how the Bay has shifted because of gentrification. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what have you seen shift in the last few years as far as the community? Because I know even when I moved out here, a lot of queer folks that were here, especially queer folks of color, aren't here anymore. Folks moved. It was like literally I got out here probably like 5 years ago, and it was like felt like it was a mass migration. It was like hella people I thought was gonna be here, and they were like, no, I'm moving here. I'm moving to Buffalo. I'm moving to the Midwest. I'm moving this place. So yeah, how has that shifted, and what has kept you here?
So born and raised in Oakland native. And I think seeing my family, we originated from Oakland as well. And so just being brought up and seeing a different community in the environment that we was brought up in, we had the old school or OGs, as you call them, that's trying to give you knowledge. Stay in school. You don't want to be on the streets like me. And shoot, the last 5-6 years, them OGs are gone. It was like a drastic, like just change of a movement. I think what I've noticed is they ended up pushing us out of the community by providing, a very large, nice financial payment for some of the older generation homes. And so they would sell their homes and go ahead, go to Antioch, go ahead, go to Tracy. You get more for your money out there. And so now you see a whole bunch of these Oakland community members out in Antioch and Tracy because they want more for their money, but not understanding that the exact space that we had, now they're selling it for even twice as what they paid you. So
yeah,
I think the affordable housing kind of did that. There's a mayor, that's the mayor of Oakland, Libby, I think had a lot to do with that too. I'm gonna be honest. And just the community. I mean, they took away our football team, they took away the basketball team, so it's just changed where now they pushing us out. They're forcing us out.
mm-hmm.
And we really ain't got much to do with it. My father, we still have the home that I was raised in, so they ain't pushing us out, and we continue to talk to them. And don't do that. I don't care if they throw $1 million at you. Don't take that. So that's kind of what I've seen. It's sad. I mean, I walk into restaurants that I used to go to as a kid in Oakland, and I walk in there, and I mean, it's definitely not a person of color that I've seen or faced. And everyone looking at me like what I'm doing in here. And I'm looking at them like, are you serious? So
you're like, this my home. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? So the culture of that is, I think it's, has to do with the financial part. And, maybe some people had some tough times and they hit us where they knew to hit us at in that pocket. So
yeah, that's how the gentrification happens, man. I'm from Southern California, and I've seen my community shift. I mean, every time I go home, it's a Target or a new Trader Joe's or something, a Starbucks. Some of them popped up, and more people are being pushed out. So I really appreciate that you mentioned the power of ownership and making sure that y'all keep that community space that you have in Oakland. And I send that to so many of our community members. If you have the ability to keep your homes, try to do that, right? Like especially in these communities where they're pushing out folks of color. But also, if it's not good bang for your buck, don't be holding on to things that's gonna like destroy your credit and your money as well. Because that's the other thing. Like we sometimes our ancestors and our elders, they've made mistakes with the properties that they want to pass along. So it can be difficult. So COVID-19, Dana, we've talked about this. We just did actually an event for San Mateo County. Thanks for bringing the boy doc out. And we had to do it virtual, right? Like we got to do Pride virtual now. It's been a wild experience, but how have you been doing? Because I know you have what I appreciate and what I've really, really seen from you is like this wellness practice, right? Like you're always out at the lake, you're moving, trying to take care of yourself. What have you been doing to stay well during the shelter in place?
Well, thank you for coming out. We appreciated BOI Wellness coming out to our community. It was amazing to have you in San Mateo County. And in regards of like health and wellness, I can say the best thing is making sure that you take care of your self-care, man. Like self-care is the best care, literally. I used to sit in grad school like, what is this professor talking about? And now that I'm all in career and advancing, self-care is the best care, even if it's just a walk at the lake, even if it's just a sitting around in a space that's peaceful and just relaxing and coming in together with yourself. If it's meditating, if it's yoga, whatever it may be to get your self-care on, get that on. Take an hour. We got 24 hours in a day. You could take an hour out of that day for yourself, and everybody else can wait. Because honestly, I've noticed the more I've done self-care, the more I'm able to continue to help the community. I'm continue to help bring wellness to the community. But if I'm not well, then I can't help nobody else be well.
That's beautiful. We're gonna have to pull that quote for one of the drops, because that's real. You can't give from I always tell folks, you can't give from an empty cup. Actually, the cup needs to be overflowing, so you have what you need and you can give extra to the next person. So
That's right.
I appreciate that. And seeing you walk at the lake always motivates me. Usually if I see you ping and check in, I'm like, okay, let me get up and go for a walk. So I appreciate it. Like, it's like our way of kind of holding each other accountable. And I don't think sometimes we know it, like, right, when we're sharing our stories, but it really does do that. So who are the people in your life that make your life incredible? Like, if you had a gratitude list, your top 3 people who keep you going, who keep Dana's life incredible.
Oh man, top 3. All right. Well, definitely it's going to start with my mother. Me and my mom have been through so much, from the different levels of transitioning and just her understanding from us being raised in Pentecostal church to understanding that this is what's going to be my gender identity and my sexual orientation, and her accepting that. So I definitely want to put my mom at the top of the level there. I want to say maybe number 2, I have a circle of family members that I keep in contact with. And so we could just say my circle of family. They definitely know who they are, but there's a circle of family of connection that we have that continue to help me keep on fighting, even when people are trying to bring that down and out of me. And then maybe number 3, I have a very, very close friend that I probably have been friends with for about 20 years. She's pretty awesome. We have a very good connection. We've been through a lot together. And so she's seen my growth from back when I was in high school to who I'm becoming now. So I'm going to just say shout out to her. She knows who she is. And just shout out to my circle of family and my mom.
That's beautiful. I'm glad that you got that support. So when you told me that you was like the LGBT commissioner and equity and all these titles, I was like, dang, Dana doing big stuff. But to be honest with you, I was also like, what does that mean? So can you break that down for our community? Because I know that like there's so many folks who listen who are interested in getting involved in their communities and not aware of the amazing ways that they can do that.
Sounds good. Okay. So we can start, I guess, with the health equity initiative. So in San Mateo County, we have Office of Diversity and Equity. And within Office of Diversity and Equity, there are 9 different health equity initiatives that is trying to help the marginalized communities in San Mateo County. It's broken into different health equity initiatives. The health equity initiative that I've been membership of and have been co-chair of is called the Pride Initiative. I've been member of Pride Initiative for about 15 years, and I've been a co-chair of the Pride Initiative for about 3 years, and definitely providing direct community health and wellness services to San Mateo County marginalized communities of LGBTQ centered. Then I look at now my LGBTQ Commission, and the LGBTQ Commission has been around since 2014. And what we do there with the LGBTQ Commission is basically policies, making sure that we also bring community services, resources. We're like the voice as well as the liaison from the community to the Board of Supervisors, who is the head of our chain of command in San Mateo County. So we advise the Board of Supervisors on things that needs to be done for the LGBTQ community. And I'll be honest, it gets done. So those 2 different entities serve different purposes in San Mateo County, but it's the same LGBTQ plus community. That's the breakdown.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. So like if folks wanted to get involved with that, like how would they get involved with that? If we got some folks listening from San Mateo, or do folks have to be in San Mateo? Is this like a part of the greater Bay Area? How do folks get involved?
So for the LGBTQ Commission, you do have to kind of be more exclusively in San Mateo County. But if you're looking for things of ways of how to assist, because our meetings are open to the public, I think the best route would be to go to our website, lgbtq.smcgov.org, and it kind of will show you the different things we have and how you can get involved, even if you're not a commissioner. And then in regards of San Mateo County Pride Initiative, you don't so much have to be exclusively part of San Mateo County, but we have monthly meetings, and so probably trying to get to those monthly meetings would be best. They usually happen every first Wednesday from 4:30 to 6 p.m. And if you're trying to find us, the best route would be on social media, Facebook, San Mateo County Pride Initiative, and then it'll take you to how you can be a part there.
Oh, thanks for breaking that down for the community. So let's jump into a little bit about your career, social work. And I know you doing stuff with like probation, right? Is that
Correct.
right? Yes,
Correct.
yes. So what are, and this is interesting because I feel like, and me and my friends joke about this all the time, but when it comes to studs, right, or boys, more masculine centered people that are Black, I'm gonna put it out there, the Black folks, you find a lot of folks in probation, right, like or like parole officer, right, or security guard or a cop,
yeah.
Right, like we really are usually aligned with these positions of leadership and strength when you think about it as a part of organizations. So like what are some of the, like, I would say, celebrations and challenges of your work being in probation? Because I know people are interested in jumping into it. I probably could name 3 or 4 people who thinking about it right now.
Okay. Well, those 3 or 4 people, I'm gonna say they gotta make sure that they strong, because one, I'm very open and out about my gender identity, about my sexual orientation, in every space that I'm in, and even in my career and work at probation. So social work helps with that, because I don't know if a lot of people know, but social work, you can do so many amazing broad things. It's such a broad degree. So juvenile justice is one of the things that I do under my social work umbrella. And I'm in the meat of the work. Like, I'm giving direct services to these juvenile that we interact with. It's difficult because we have a lot of LGBTQ youth that we're seeing more and more and more, especially a lot of trans masculine youth that I'm encountering. And being a voice and advocating for that and still standing for who you are, I have really witnessed a lot. I think a lot of it comes from people ignorance, maybe about the community, uncomfortableness off of what they have been raised and they've been personally received in their environments about the community. And so, unfortunately, they're unable to turn that switch off when they come to work. And you got to make sure that you hold your ground, you educate these people, but also not be disrespected, and also not sound like the angry Black person all at the same time. So there's a lot of different emotions that you all got to try to channel, but still be there for this population that you're looking over for yourself. I've done some union work within probation, and I think that helped big, being a part of the union, helping out with the union, because I'm able to go to the top of the chain and say, hey, these are some policies that I think we should look into in regards to LGBTQ community members, or this is the language of how you should address LGBTQ community members, or just the whole thing of the importance of pronouns, the importance of SOGI, sexual orientation, gender identity, and involving all that in probation or in law enforcement that for many, many years have been very invisible when it comes to LGBTQ community. So just trying to build the visibility of that. I've seen it change and evolve for so long. I've been probably doing probation total and been in law enforcement total for about, I want to say 18 years. And I literally have seen it to where people have really felt that they were more safer in the closet to now where we are having probation departments or law enforcement departments that are actually at Pride events, supporting, showing that they're inclusive to the community. So you have to be strong. You have to be able to take whichever is needed. You have to be able to take yourself out and get you some self-care when those type of things aren't going well, and have that circle of people around you to help build you when you just can't take it no more. I've had days where I just like, man, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And then here come that circle, like, no, here's the goal, and then go get yourself some self-care. And then I'm back. I'm ready. Let's go. Next day. Hit me with whatever you got. So I think hopefully those people understand the importance you got is different, because you're not just that law enforcement, but you're that advocate. And you want to be yourself, and you want to be comfortable with being yourself and standing your ground about who you are. So
Yeah, I hear you. I appreciate you doing that extra labor too. I think so many masculine of center folks that work in corporate or, in spaces that are just more conservative, we always have to be the advocates. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, even if that wasn't a part of your job, you would end up having to do it because we have to create space for ourselves, right? Because people don't open the doors. They don't invite us to the table.
Not at all.
We literally have to build it. So I got a couple more questions for you in this segment, and then we're going to go into our closing and our fun, which is called Boy Talk and Hop.
Okay.
But I feel like this is an important question because you've been doing this work for a while and you've changed so many people's lives, and I know you have a lot of perspective. But what advice would you give a young masculine of center person wanting to come out, wanting to find their way, early on the journey, maybe young in their early 20s? What advice would you give them about just coming into themselves and taking care of themselves? What are some things that you've learned on your journey that you would share?
Definitely making sure that they do that when they're ready, when they actually get a comfortableness inside of themselves of, okay, I'm ready to do this and I'm ready to take any ridicule, to be honest, that may come with it. Or if anybody chooses to not be involved with me. I mean, there's different layers, unfortunately, that comes with coming out and being your original self. But definitely when you understand that whatever comes out of this negatively or any toxicness that come out of this, I'm going to still be okay. I'm going to still be me. And I'm going to still try to live the life that I choose to live. If you aren't ready for that, it's okay. You can build yourself up to that. But I would say don't rush or just jump and just to be boom and not prepare for whatever bad things that may come with that. I mean, you would hope that just all good things come with that. But in a lot of spaces, in a lot of circles that we're in, or environments that we are intersectionality wise, it doesn't. It is unfortunately it doesn't, and I hope it gets there. But until then, you definitely got to be strong with who you are and be okay with whatever comes from that. I would also say having someone supportive by your side throughout this whole thing would definitely help and assist you on that journey. It need to be a family member, need to be a chosen family member, a partner, community. You definitely someone that is going to be there to catch you if you fall down, or if you may almost about to fall down because of whatever you're going to receive. Because a lot of people aren't comfortable with us just being us. It's just the truth. And so just understanding, you are amazing. You are unique. You are an original individual, and you belong, and you are loved. And take those principles and be that person when you are ready. And if you're not ready, that's okay. There's others that's out there that's fighting the justice for you, that's advocating for you. So when you are ready, we'll be there for you. And then you'll be like, whew, thank you for making this space, and it's making that circle for us. So just make sure that you're prepared for that, and you got that circle around you. Get that self-care. Don't forget about that self-care.
Brilliant, brilliant. So, at the on the BOI Meets Wellness podcast, we're all about mindset. So that's why I asked you that question, because I think so much of what you talk about, Dana, is the power of how if you change your mind, you can really change your life, right? Like you could really step into a new avenue of yourself. So my question for you is like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Because BOI Meets Wellness, we're all about mindset. We're all about manifestation. So I consider what we speak, is what it will be. So where do you see yourself, or where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years?
Oh, okay. That's a good one. In the next 5 years, I'm working on a documentary and a book. And so I definitely see. I don't want to throw that in, but I definitely see that being global. The whole movement of what I'm expressing in the documentary and in the book going global. I am seeing myself with my own LGBTQ plus center that would be servicing at-risk youth, as well as or at promised youth, as well as servicing the LGBTQ plus homeless community. Just different service bases within there. I'm seeing myself maybe as a elected official in one of these amazing cities to try to, be that voice within the queer community as well. I see myself just trying to continue the activism and bring some type of justice for those that may not have that voice. I see myself up there, and building with other community leaders to try to make sure that we are advocating and we are having that space for the different communities that we may serve within the LGBTQ plus umbrella. So I definitely want to see those things. And I think through that documentary, again, that I'm almost completed, as well as the book, I think a lot of people will see the focus of where these changes is going to happen.
I say to that, I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to come through to the center and sit on the couch and look up and be like, Dana, you remember 5 years ago you was talking about this? Now we here. I can't wait, man. I say to all of that, I know it's gonna come full circle, and it's gonna come strong. So before we jump into Boy Talk and Hop, what projects are you working on, or how can folks get involved with your work? I know you do a lot of consultation as well, as far as like supporting folks with doing change and creating change at their own organization. So any information you want to drop, please provide that for the community.
Thank you. So as I said, I'm having a documentary that I've been working on. I put a lot of work into it. Me and a good friend of mine, Dr. Khalid White from Black Empower, we come together and we've made this amazing documentary about LGBTQ plus and just intersectionality. And I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm not gonna give the bits and pieces, but it's about my story. It's about some other perspective of things that have happened, and we are looking into dropping that in November. Definitely will send over the release party to you, Evolve. I'm hoping as we're going through this COVID and this quarantining that we can at least get a space for people to see the documentary, even if it's with our masks on.
Mask on. We'll be good. Yeah,
we be good.
We be good and cute, even in a mask.
We're dressed up with the mask on, but definitely looking into that again, dropping in November. Then we're looking into that book dropping in 2021, preparing with the no mask, preparing with the no COVID is what I'm looking into with the book dropping. And yes, I do consultation. I am co-chair, as I told you, for Health Equity Initiative, San Mateo County. So I do a lot of consulting with that as well. And a lot of other different like activisms that I do. I've been doing a lot of it throughout the Bay Area at different spaces. We met doing some things while I was with Butch Voices.
Yep. Shouts out
And
to Joe and shouts out to Bush Voices.
Joe,
Yep.
Bush Voices, and shout out to y'all that's on that committee too, man. It was some good things that's coming out of that.
Yeah, that was a good space. That was definitely a good space of growth. Like I felt like it was a great space of growth. So Dana, don't forget to drop your email, or if you got a website, because this is the part where people gonna want to know, like, how do I hire you? Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you want to hire me, you want to looking into me. Let's just go with the email. The email address that I would be using would be TherActivist. That's spelled TherActivist @gmail.com. Again, TherActivist@gmail.com. Just shoot me an email. I'm working on the website right now, so the best means to try to collaborate with me would be TherActivist@gmail.com. Social media, I have a lot of those different realms. So I think I would just say, go ahead and drop that email, TherActivist@gmail.com.
I shaded that. So let's jump into Boy Talking Hop. So this is like a fill in the blank. So you pretty much, I'm gonna give you a sentence and you're gonna fill in the blank. This is a little different for your mind, just to see how you think. When's your birthday, Dana? By the way, when's your birthday?
My birthday is November 17th. Scorpio up in here.
Scorpio in the building. Okay, I'm a Leo, so I feel the Scorpio love. I think Scorpio is somewhere in it's my moon or something like that. Some part of my journey, but. So this is great because we get to see, another side of you, a little bit more relaxed, So I'm going to give you a statement, you fill in the blank. So I would be like, money is, and if somebody was asking me, I would say, money is abundant, right? And you'll just tell us whatever your answer is for that. So you ready to jump in?
Yeah, it's PG or it's just come as you are?
Come as you are. We open.
Okay.
We open. Yeah. I make sure that unless it's really explicit, I would just keep the explicitity open on the podcast. If it's really explicit, then I do put on there that it's explicit. Like I had a friend on a few weeks ago talking about cannabis, but I think they talked about lube or something, and I was like, all right, we gonna put that on the explicit so the kids know. Mainly so the parents know, because the kids already know and they're gonna try it. We know y'all know. We know y'all know.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so the first question is, wellness is
hope, joy, abundance.
Money is
the root of all evil, but the only thing that can get us by in society.
I say that's real. My favorite food is
pizza.
What kind? What's your toppings?
Cheese pizza with extra cheese. To be honest with you, man, I'm in love with cheese. My granny, we used to always go get the government cheese at the nearby environment spaces there, and so I was raised on the cheese. Let's bring me the cheese.
It's nothing like that good old brick of cheddar, man. It's nothing like it. Put it on some cheese toast.
Man,
you set. You are set. You are set.
And you chop it the way you want it. You make your own size.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect. If you could speak to anyone, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you do?
It would be my grandmother that just passed away about 1.5 years ago. I would tell her all the talks that she had with me in regards of just being who I am, especially when it came to spiritual, and God is going to accept me how I am because I'm doing great things to the community. just keep doing it regardless. I think I would come back to her and say, Grandma Gotti, you were absolutely correct. She was definitely an angel on earth. So I know she's doing amazing angelness work in heaven. And I would say thank you for just bringing that Puerto Rican culture into my space, and thank you for always accepting me for who I was throughout my whole life. She's been amazing. So I mean, I'm hoping she's hearing that. Thank you for the blessing of yourself, and then just the blessings of me and the person that I've been involved into.
I say, shouts out to the grandmother energy. Thanks for bringing that in the building, Dana.
Mm-hmm.
Music is
relaxing, expressive, a voice.
Who you listening to right now? Who's your top artist?
Well, we're gonna do rap. I would say my number one is Kendrick Lamar. I definitely been pushing on the Nipsey Hussle too lately. So I guess I've been getting a little bit of that LA vibe.
Nice.
And if I was to say R&B, my number one would be LMA. Man. What more can I say? But man, LMA.
I like that. Shouts out to LMA. Hit Dana up. Shouts out.
Please, I'm waiting for you. I'm here.
My favorite book is?
I want to say maybe my favorite book would go down to. Ooh, that's a hard one. Can I say two? One?
Yep. Two is great.
All right. One is I'm gonna give shout out to my boy for Black Fatherhood. It's a pretty good book, just about embracing the Black community and Black fatherhood. And then number two would be Push Out by Monique Morris. That's pretty expressive, and that's pretty amazing book too about Black girl magic and just our young Black girls and in incarceration and schooling systems. And definitely think that you should read Push Out and Black Fatherhood. Amazing books.
I have to check that out. Money. Oh, yeah, we already did money. Love is.
Love is interesting. Love is amazing in some spaces, emotional, hurtful, happiness, unconditional.
Ownership is.
Ownership is amazing if you're owning the correct and right thing.
And last but never least, Dana is.
Born obviously incredible. Dana is remarkable, everlasting, overwhelming, ongoing, passionate, expressive, activist, TherActivist.
You got a whole poem going.
Hey. Shall we start? Dana is friendly, observant, analytical, Let's just say it there. Born obviously incredible.
I appreciate that. Yes, you are. BOI, born obviously incredible. Thank you so much, Dana, for the time, for the interview, for the space, for being, like I said, one of our freedom fighters, really being out there doing the work. So much of my work started at the LGBT Center in Los Angeles, hosting free groups when I was in my psychology program, free groups for the youth. And I always tell my partner, that was like the most joyful time of my life. Like that was some of the best work I ever did. I feel like personally, because I'm able to see those folks now be incredible human beings. And I feel like the mentorship in our community is so important, even though it's one of the things that I don't think is highlighted as much, right? It doesn't get that visibility that it needs, but it's so important and it's so key to our lives. So thank you for all the work that you're doing, that you continue to do. And any way I can support it, as you know, I'm always down to do that because I know that you're putting in the hard work. And you have the history. You have the history in your hands, in your life, and in your journey. So thank you for being here, fam.
Thank you for having me, BOI Meets Wellness community, Evolve. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having this space too. This is pretty amazing to have this space, for masculine-centered individuals, and then for a community to kind of just get a look at what we all make up. So thank you for having this space. Thank you for being you in the work you're doing. We don't want to overlook that, but you're doing some amazing things here. You give these interviews, but we want to make sure that you understand too. you're amazing, Evolve, and you're doing amazing work. Keep that up.
Thank you,
Keep
Dana.
that up.
I felt that. I felt the little chills in my body. I felt
Okay.
appreciated. I appreciate
Hey, that's from
that.
the heart. That's from the heart.
Man, that's
from the heart.
appreciated. I was thinking
Gosh.
about that yesterday. I was like, man, I feel like I'm gonna have the most interviews with MLC folks, and that's pretty dope. Like to have the people that have like agreed to share their stories. It's been amazing, but it's just so cool to think about historically. Like all of y'all have done. Like literally, if y'all weren't here, I don't know if the planet would still be even working the way it's working. Like,
that's deep. Thank you.
Yeah. It's just it's crazy to see like we're all alive and here at the same time for a reason. Really, really here. So
sounds good. Can I do a quick shout out just to my San Mateo County community?
Yes, please do.
Okay, shout out to San Mateo County LGBTQ community. There's a lot of you guys out there, so I'm just going to throw that out there. You're not forgiven in community. Thank you. We are amazing. We're trying to continue that visibility. San Mateo County got queer, so come see us. We out here. Shout out to my Oakland community as well, born and raised, to help me be the person that I am, expressive that I am. Appreciate that. LGBTQ community members out there that I have as friends, I see you too. And with that being said, this is Dana, and I'm born, obviously, incredible.
Thanks for listening to BOI Meets Wellness. Stay connected on and off the show by following us online at BOI Meets Wellness. That's boy with an I. Until next time, go be incredible.